This is the Godox Litemons 6BI LED light. I bought one in Thailand for the equivalent of around $20 US. In Thailand, products from China are quite cheap. If you live in Europe or the US, it might be a bit more expensive, but it will still be quite cheap. So on the front, there's a removable plastic diffuser. Inside, there's an 1800 milliamp hour lithium-ion battery. That's charged via a USB-C port, which is quite nice. One of the only useful things the EU has done is to insist that all manufacturers use USB-C for charging. A few years ago, you used to have all different kinds of leads for different products, and nowadays most products will just use USB-C. I haven't done any extensive testing on the battery, but it charges quickly, and so far I've found it to have adequate power for all the shoots that I've done. I haven't yet had an occasion where I've run out of battery power. Using it is very straightforward. There's an on-off switch, and you can change the colour temperature from between 3200K to 6500K using these two buttons. And there are 9 steps. So a short press on either button will just change the colour temperature a little bit. If you want to go from one end of the scale all the way to the other end, just do a long press on either button. So a long press here will take you to 3200K, and a long press on this button will take you back up to 6500K. You can also change the brightness of the light using these two buttons, and there are 10 levels of brightness, and once again a short press on each button will just change the brightness a little bit. If you want to go to one extreme or the other, just use a long press on each button. So a long press on this button will go to the dimmest setting, and the long press on the other button will go to the brightest setting. These 4 green lights give you an indication of battery strength. I'm down to 3 lights now, and they also blink when the light is charging. There's actually another model, I think it's called the 6R, and instead of these lights there's a little display here, and that gives you the battery level as a percentage, and it also shows you the colour temperature of the light, which this one doesn't. With this one, you know that the colour temperature is in between 3200 and 6500K, but you don't know what it is exactly. But the one with the display will tell you. The functionality is exactly the same, but the 6R model just gives you a bit more information. The light seems quite bright, but it's only 6 watts maximum, and it's not really enough to use instead of a flash for photography or videography. What I've been using mine for is just close-up work, macro and product photography. On the bottom there's a little plastic foot that can go inside a hot shoe or cold shoe, and there's also a 1/4" thread in there. I've been using mine with these cheap Ulanzi mini tripods. That seems to work quite well, and all around the LEDs are little slots which enable you to join 2 or more together. So potentially you could have as many as you want all joined together, and that will give you more light output. This is my current setup, and I'll just take you through some alternative lighting solutions. I've got these desktop lamps. They've got quite powerful LED bulbs. In fact, they're a bit too powerful at times, and you can't change the brightness. I usually put some white cloth on the front to diffuse the light a little bit. And they're AC, so of course they're not portable. I can't take them out in the field. I've also got some Canon speed lights. These are portable and can be taken outside. The problem with speed lights is that you need to take a photo and then review it. Then if you need to make changes, take another photo and then review it again. What I like about the constant lighting of the LEDs is that you can make changes and you can see the effects of those changes in real time, in live view on the camera. So that's really nice. Now, initially, I bought this contraption here. It's like a dual cold shoe arm. And my intention was putting this on the bottom of the camera and then putting an LED light on each stalk. But it hasn't really worked out. This thing's a bit clumsy, a bit heavy. If it was smaller, it would be okay. So I haven't ended up using that. What I'm using are these small Ulanzi mini tripod stands. I've got the Manfrotto one, which it's a lot better, but it's a lot more expensive. These Ulanzi ones are just like cheap Chinese knockoffs of the Manfrotto. About a quarter of the price, but just to support the lights, they're fine. They do the job. So this is the setup I'm using at the moment.